shut your eyes, here I come, it's gonna be a wild ride. Wake the dead, gonna go all night, twist it up, we're gonna have a good time. These wicked games that we play, these wicked games that we play, these wicked games that we play, these wicked games that we play. Oh, oh, kill the lights, you better hold on tight, out for blood, you better run and hide.
Good evening, lords and ladies. DJ Craigie live for the Behind the Fangs podcast with my amazing co-host and wife, Ming Chao Neapolitan Wu. We're here with Princeps Damien Shadowblade, Carthage Elfinor. Welcome and good evening.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Welcome to Behind the Fang podcast. We're very excited to interview you this evening. You come highly recommended, suggested from our boss, Diabolic Domino. So we are thrilled to be able to have an accomplished writer on the podcast.
I don't know about an accomplished writer yet.
Oh,
but
yes, you are. We saw the link.
Say
Yes,
up
you are.
and coming,
That's
maybe.
right. Accomplished, yes.
So please tell us about your current, tell us about you. Tell us about your current family and your role in Progeny.
Um, Elfinor is my main PV family.
Very
Even
cool.
though I have family scattered all over Progeny, I am in the Amentera di Eternita bloodline, and if I said that incorrectly, I know who's going to get on me about it. I
That's a
am
mouthful
also,
right there.
oh yeah, I am the clan ambassador and also the princess of the House Inquisition of Blood, whom my sister and I call twin, Dajani is my delegate.
Oh,
Very
I know
cool.
her. She's amazing. I love the
yeah.
name of your house too.
Thank you.
Does that have like a special meaning for you guys, or it's kind of Illuminati-ish? It's really cool.
Well, the Inquisition part I kind of got from Dragon Age Inquisition, which I'm a
Oh.
huge fan of.
Oh,
But to kind of
Very
make it
cool.
a more vampire-ish theme, I just added blood.
I love it. It's very cool. Very
blood changes everything.
Yes, it does. All right. Well, tell us how you got sucked into Progeny. That's a little vampire humor there, everyone. They'll throw tomatoes and eggs at me later and send hate mail. But tell us how you got sucked into Progeny. Tell us about your embrace and your sire.
Oh, geez, where do I start? I really enjoy the vampire RP and enjoy the whole masquerade thing. I am such a huge fan of the TV series, the originals. So, in a way, my house's theme is based around that Victorian type, you know. I don't know if you
It's
guys
very
seen
cool.
that show.
I have seen the originals. Yes, that is a good show.
My embrace was extremely memorable. I was actually gonna go under my grandfather Broken over in
Oh my gosh, Blood Regent
SD.
Broken.
Yep. It was just extremely funny that day. Well, I should say night because it was kind of late.
Vampires only go out at night, remember?
Right. So that works out, but I mean, I guess we kind of had a poltergeist possesses altar because we kind of got thrown around like ragdolls
Oh
for a
my
little
gosh.
bit. You
Was
gotta
it
love SL
scripted
at
or
times.
what happened? Yeah.
We have no idea. But I ended up going under my dad, Techie, and he was already in Elfinor, so that's how I ended up being in ADE. I'm now my sire is my mother Jess, because I'm a leader, so
Mm-hmm.
That's
that's
super
just
cool.
oh yeah.
You
It's
still got that haunted altar?
well, I would have to talk to my grandpa about that one. So
Hey, we need to check it out. We have to start being paranormal investigators on top of everything else we do.
right?
Yep. Ed and Lorraine, watch out. Craig and Ming are on the scene.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we hear you are an accomplished writer, as we spoke about earlier. Tell us about your work. Do you write vampire fiction, or like, what kind of style do you go for?
I tend to do different styles to kind of challenge myself in writing. The main story is my World of Ascension series, which is actually available on, well, the first book is available on Amazon now. But I am writing a little short story regarding my character in Progeny, and it can kind of thank Brian Lesher Ravens for that one, because I just happened to be in his RP class. He wanted a backstory, so that's
Ah,
what I got. So I kind of base it on the Masquerade, and I have a Nosferatu in my story, which was ironically the Nosferatu that I came up with in the real life RP Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, those are the hideous monster ones too. Powerful
Oh
but
yeah.
ugly. Yes. Good thing vampires don't have no reflection, right?
Right?
But I can't wait to read your story about the masquerade. That sounds really cool.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a free story though. I don't plan on selling it. Just like the Star Wars story that you're already interested in,
Yes.
Lady Ming.
Yes. I want to read all of his stuff. It's really cool.
yes, I'm planning on reading that myself. That sounds awesome.
Oh, since
Really
we're
good.
kind of on it right now, and then we can just move on to the other ones afterwards. With the Star Wars short story, it's about two Chiss twins. And mind you, I cannot pronounce Chiss names for the life of me. Yes, they are in the story, but I kind of had the twins get adopted because the Sith ended up invading their home world when they were younger. But before that even happened, Delma, one of the twins, or actually, no, it started um, during the invasion. Um, the Dart that was leading the invasion force was killed and ended up possessing Delma.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
It's very
so
complex storyline.
oh yeah. So it's
The
like
Sith are some of my favorite. I love the
nobody
Sith.
could understand why the two twins weren't getting along, and then Arlen, the other twin, he became a Jedi.
Oh, wow. So
Uh,
one's a Jedi and one's a Sith?
like the
Oh yeah.
Clash of the Titans, for sure.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
And the secret on why they're pretty much torn apart, it will be revealed in the story, which is called The Unbreakable Legacy.
That was awesome. And that was that texture you gave to us. So we're going to run across this because it's, I love it. It's awesome. So the dark and the light.
Oh yeah. And it's kind of funny how I made those two characters. It was by accident. I was playing Star Wars: The Old Republic online, and I ended up making Dalmat first, and then like a month or so later, I decided to make another chest for the light side, and I was like, wait a second here. and I just realized they made them look exactly alike. I was like, well, okay, fine, I'll just do a story.
That is cool. So that's kind of what inspired you then?
Oh yeah. But I should probably move on to the World of Ascension.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the first book, which is part of the World of Ascension series, and it's also the first book in the Age of the Guardian trilogy. The Age of the Guardian trilogy is basically Mark Shadowblade's rise to power as the Guardian of Ascension. He is a lightning mage.
Ooh. No, that's pretty cool. So he's
Oh
very
yeah.
powerful.
Oh yeah. And he actually came from the world of Palus, which through magical mirrors, which Dragon Age Inquisition calls them illuvians. But I have to come up with my own name.
Oh, well,
Copyright.
yes.
Yeah,
There are
that's
so
really
many.
neat.
There is so many possibilities and secrets within this world in which I created, including from Mark and Malachi's own son, Damien. So there's going to be a lot of twists and turns and a lot of secrets revealed throughout this entire story.
That is really cool. And you said, you just told us before we started this recording that Shadowblade, your name is in your story, right?
Yes, it is.
Brilliant.
Yes, the Shadowblade family is a well-known family in World of Ascension, and they work closely with the king of the city of Ascension. The patriarch is actually the general of the Legion of Ascension, which is the army. It's the military branch.
Sounds really
Mm.
cool. Well, you spent, obviously, it's very detailed. You spent a lot of time on this and the concept. So we're looking forward to reading this. So where can we find these writing projects that you've been talking to us about? And do you have anything that you're currently working on that you want to share with us? Like, spoiler alert.
I would love to. I do have a blog where you can find everything, even information about all my writing projects. You can also buy my book in PDF format on my blog website, and can also buy the Kindle version on Amazon.
Okay, amazing. I saw the Kindle version. So, and we will provide the community with these links so they can check it out. And
Oh, yeah, you'll see the links in the comments, folks.
yes.
So what would you say is your favorite thing about Progeny? Like, as a writer, I assume the endless possibilities with different characters can be quite appealing as well, like including your own.
Oh, that's a really tough question because there's a lot about Progeny that I enjoy. I do enjoy the fighting, but I also enjoy interacting with other people, especially in ADE. I interact with them as much as I can.
Is it like a LARP? I ask this to everyone. Is it like a live action role play or?
Sometimes we do a little bit of role play. I mean, our art is an RP fanatic. So we do have a lot of fun once in a while. Sometimes we just kind of do stuff random and
Mm-hmm. Spur the
yeah.
moment.
Oh yeah.
You say you like
Well,
combat?
Oh yes, I love PB combat.
it's a lot of fun, right?
Oh yeah. I haven't killed anybody yet, but well, I did, but that didn't feel so honorable to me at the time.
I killed it, didn't
It'll
count,
pass,
folks.
my friend.
Yeah.
So, oh,
I
well.
actually started fighting during the Red War when I was a fledgling.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Red War.
Oh yeah.
Lovely.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I
Well,
just remember oops, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, well, we might have crossed paths because I was in that war for sure.
Maybe. My first fight, I remember that it was over at K-pop.
Okay.
Arch Lucian was there. There was a bunch of Blackburns there. I remember getting there and I was just staring another vampire down.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Were they wearing red? Was it a sea of red?
That part I don't remember.
When I was
But
done.
probably.
Yeah. The Red War was actually really, it gave a lot of people some good training, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it did. It's what got me into fighting. Because when I rejoined Progeny, I wasn't even thinking about fighting. I didn't think it was going to be something I wanted to do, but then I got into it and I was like, this is a lot of fun. But I know eventually it's just going to get rather tiring after doing it so much.
Well,
Well,
definitely, and
combat
as
is
long as you
hard. I
keep
mean,
things interesting, though.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. As long as
You-
everybody keeps it interesting, I'm all for it. And when they're being respectful, I love the ones that are just like they get into your box and they're like, that was a really good fight.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good game. That's
Oh
what I
yeah.
always say.
Yeah.
Yeah, GG. Win or lose, right?
Yep.
Mhm. Well, that's good. So you're very well rounded. You like the arts, you like writing, and you also like combat. That's kind of unusual to find that combination. So that's very impressive.
It comes with being a gamer too.
Well,
Yeah, I
definitely.
guess.
I always tell my wife that.
Well, yeah. Only I can improve on my combat skills. I would
And we
love to
will.
suck some people down, really. I'm a patron of the arts renegades, so just think of me as Tomb Raider. I just like puzzles. So, so now where do you get the ideas for your stories then? I think you mentioned a couple of things, and like what inspires you to write? You said the Red War. What other things inspire you?
Other stories. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Terry Brooks. The Sword of Shannara series and the Shannara Chronicles. Uh, the Warcraft franchise. Um, and Star Wars. I get
I
my
love
ideas
Star
from
Wars.
everywhere. I
We
know
have so many Star Wars.
we were
Well,
having a really
Yeah.
good conversation about that yesterday.
Yes, Padme. Oh my gosh, she's my favorite. And there are a lot of Star Wars fanatics in Progeny in the community, so I'm sure they're going to love to read your story. This is going to open up a whole new world.
And just for you, Ming, we'll have Arlen meet with Padme at some point.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's awesome. Thank you. That
You're
is
welcome.
amazing. I can't wait to read about that. Well,
the whole.
like,
So, do you have any
yeah,
final thoughts or like parting words for the awesome community? Any, like, as my wife said, spoilers?
yes, spoiler alert. And just before we jump into that, I just want to say Craig is very much like Darth Vader. So, hi, Craig.
Well, hopefully, like a cool Anakin, you know, not not
Well,
not on the lung machine yet, you know.
Yeah, that's why I told Damien, I'm like, Padme should have went to the dark side with him. Yeah, we need to get some alternate endings like that. So,
oh yeah. Well, it was brought to my attention that you guys wanted a taste of my vampire story, so we can do that in a little
yes.
bit.
Yes, please. We'd love to hear that.
But my final thoughts and parting words to the entire Progeny community
No pressure.
It's actually kind of inspiring. Before I came back into Progeny, my social anxiety was extremely high. It's like when I joined, I barely even spoke in the Elfinore groups or ADE groups. But the more I started feeling comfortable, I started talking even more. Not only Elfinore, but ADE really helped me come out of my shell. I have also been slowly interacting with the rest of the PV community, which I'm working on, especially since it's important now that I'm an ambassador and a princeps.
Oh,
And
yeah, absolutely.
one last
Congratulations, yes.
thank you. And one last little humorous thing. Yes, I'm gonna bring my dad, Cat, into this, who is the sovereign of our Elfinore clan. He teased me a while back. It's like, because we're having a conversation with somebody about me being so quiet in the beginning, and it's like, now he says, yeah, now we can't get him to shut up. And I said, well, that's not what you truly want, Dad.
I think all dads say that. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good thing then, right? So
It's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
thing.
brings people out of that metaphorical shell, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He is such an
Now
awesome
you're
dad.
ambassador and princeps. You got your boxing gloves on to get in that political arena. You can
Oh,
go
yeah.
to Council of Houses and GCSE and just get in there.
Oh, yeah. I've been going, but I haven't really been talking. I'm working my way in there. I'll get there
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's fun. Most important thing, enjoy your character, enjoy your role play, have some fun.
Always.
Yeah,
So,
I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Wow, you got some amazing stuff going on. You're very accomplished, and it's very impressive.
I'm never
So,
gonna get away
we'll be
from that with
so.
you, am I?
No,
The
you're not
accomplished
going
thing.
to. You are very accomplished. I am very impressed.
I
I know the
appreciate that.
community will be. The community will be as well once they get a sample of your writing. Which, if you would honor us with that, we would love to hear a sample.
Of course, just let me know when you're ready.
Ready, go for it.
The story is called Damien's Return. The city was dark, aside from the street lamps illuminating the streets. People were shouting and yelling outside of the local club. The voices kept getting louder as I continued my approach. I sniffed the air cautiously, making sure I wasn't being followed. Satisfied, I continued the rest of the way into the club. I already shifted before I left my home in the village of Elfinore, as to not cause any alarm upon my entry. I had just awoken from a long slumber and was thirsty for blood, hoping to get my fill among the humans in the city. Something had drawn me to this club, which is the reason I was unsure. As I took my seat at one of the tables in the club, I noticed a shadow out of the corner of my eye. My senses heightened, but quickly settled when I figured out who it was. The nosferatu that I had befriended all those years ago, before my rest. I nodded in his direction, his grotesque mouth curling up into what appeared to be a smile. He must have sensed I was here, otherwise he would not have come out of the sewers in which he inhabited. My senses heightened once again, and I began to sniff the air. I snarled quietly, and was on my feet within moments. I spotted the intruder making her way through the club, as if she owned the place. This rogue vampire had no right to be here, I thought to myself, attempting to blend into the crowd of people, not wanting to give myself away. I quickly followed her outside of the club, with my Nosferatu friend not far behind. The vampire looked behind her, though I had already slinked into the shadows. I followed her into the alley next to the club. When she realized she couldn't go any further, she stopped, and began scanning the area. That's when I began inching closer. She then turned around and became paralyzed. I grinned as I watched the fear envelop her. Her gaze remained peering out of the alley. At this point, her own conscience was betraying her. She opened her mouth, but no sound escaped her lips. I took advantage of her state, remained in the shadows as I came around behind her. In a cloud of smoke, I changed into my true form. I am a child, not just any child, but an elven child, one of the most feared among the vampire races. I leaped onto the back of my unsuspecting prey and sank my fangs into her neck. Reveling in the metallic taste of blood, it had been so long since I had fed. I clamped tighter on the vampire until she was drained. After a few minutes, she began to fall to the ground. I then leaped off her back before the other vampire hit the ground. I licked the remaining blood from my fangs, completely satisfied by my meal. I walked around the corpse of the rogue vampire, then turned to face it once again. I spotted a can of gasoline to my right. I grinned, baring my fangs once again. Snatching the can, I dumped the contents onto the court, then tossed the can to the side and proceeded to take the book of matches out of my pocket. I lit them all and tossed them onto the dead vampire, bursting it into flames. My eyes glowed red in the firelight. I finally turned around to walk out of the alley, but before I began walking, I looked up and saw the Nosferatu. I smiled in his direction and said, "Damien Shadowblade Carthage Elfinor is back in the masquerade." My friend grinned wickedly without saying a word as I began to walk, with him not too far behind.
I love that. It's
Yes.
amazing.
It's still a work in progress.
That was very good. Like you can actually, it's a good writing when like you can taste the blood. Everything what you described is like very realistic, so
Very
I
lucid. I
love
like
it.
it.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, just so people are not confused on when I mention child in there, it's technically a teenager, but he's no longer. Later in the story, you find out that he doesn't shift into that form anymore. Because
Okay.
over
So,
time, it does get inappropriate because of lore.
okay. Okay. Well, that
Makes
was a
sense.
great story. Yeah,
Thank you.
I really appreciate you sharing that with us. It was awesome. And we look forward to reading a lot more of your stories to come.
There's pretty much 12 novels planned for my World of Ascension series already. They're all outlined.
Wow, that's a lot.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
I got a lot of work
Well,
ahead of me in the future.
Oh, definitely. I was gonna say a lot of brainstorming too.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Wow,
it has
I think
truly
that's a
been
wrap.
an honor. I love the story and I can't wait for more. And it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Oh, it was an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. It's been just fantastic. Your writing you're accomplished, so we really appreciate you coming on here. And
She's not gonna let me live that one down.
No, I'm not. No, absolutely not. So before Craig cuts me off here, Craig, we have to shoot out some current events announcements here. So he's yanking my phone. Get off the stage, Ming. Okay, but we have to remind you about the Ravage Fantastic Fridays. There's a lot of great prizes if you want to get involved with that. And Wednesdays as well. Just watch for notices. Yeah, you got to read your notices, folks. Sorry. But watch for those notices. And then, of course, Council of Houses and GCSE, try and get involved. There's some really cool stuff going on with the resolutions you might want to check out. Don't forget about that new diabolic system law where you can't do home invasions. And
Yes.
watch out for people working with their work tags. Come on now, folks. You don't want to end up in the court stream, the live channel on the Progeny Discord. We don't want to see you in there, okay? So, and go check out the Graves Design Sim, the brand new work that's been done. And you can see
Awesome.
the courtroom. It's absolutely stunning. So I think they have a trial coming up. So also the Orientation Guild has a party coming up. Be on the lookout for that. It's the end of year party to celebrate. And that means no more classes till the new year. So I know your students will be like very excited about that. It's like getting out for summer, right? And lastly, I think, the Infernal Wall. You got to go check out Infernal Xena did these fantastic photos, the Infernal Wall at the Hearthstone Museum. So check that out too and get to know who your Infernals are. So I think that's a wrap. I think that's it. Thanks for spending your eternity here with us at Progeny Vampire. Until we meet again. Okay, Craig, you can cut it now.
Do this. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you
He's
next
actually
time.
my boss. He's actually my boss, folks. I just want to put that out there before we go. Thank you,
Funny.
Lord Damien. It's been a true pleasure. And my darling husband.
You're most
you know I love
welcome.
you. All right, we'll talk
And
to
I
y'all
love you
again.
too.
Good night, community.
Feel the dark creeping up on you.